gentlemen, to the English news from Djibouti channels. Here are the headlines of our editions tonight. The Prime Minister opened the forum of the digital ceremony. On continental news, Libya prepare elections during the spring season. That were our top stories, and if you join us, welcome on Djibouti channels. Following the adoptions by the Security Council of Resolutions number 2444, the government of the Republic of Djibouti welcomed the decision of the Security Council to lift the sanctions against Eritrea. The government of Djibouti expressed its full satisfaction and the inclusions of the operative paragraph of the resolutions of the operative paragraph on the crucial issues of Djiboutian prisoners of war and the demarcations on the border. Paragraph 3 instantly requesting Eritrea to make available all information relating to missing Djiboutian soldiers, and paragraph 7 asking in two parties to continue their efforts to peacefully resolve the border conflict which oppose him according to international law. It's under the agencies of Prime Minister Abdul Qadir Kamil Mohammed that it's opened the forum on the digital economy this morning at Campus Key Hotel with the theme Digital Economy and the Services of Development. The event organized by the Ministry of Communication, Post and Telecommunication in close collaboration with the Ministry National Education and Higher Education, as well as the Ministry of Finance and the World Bank representations in Djibouti brought together the senior executives of the public and private sector, teachers, researchers, and all those who were sensitive to digital issues. It was for the initiators of the forum to give new impetus to the digital while updating a national roadmap, and those allow the establishment of the first step of a strong digital economy by making the most of information and communication technology. It has been a question of exchanging strong digital potential of the main obstacle to be overcome, but also challenges. The panelists spoke about the digital transformations and the development of technologies, but also the role of the public and private sector in the development of the digital economy and connectivity by exchanging their experience in the field of digital transformation. The goal is to put in place new business models. This forum was also meant to be an incubator for new ideas. The Minister of Finance, Mr. Ilyas Moussa Douali, emphasized during his speech the objective is to set up a new business model. This forum meant to be an incubator for new ideas, but also to build a new practice and new professionals appear. He also added that making digital a vector of economy growth, but also of human development by modernizing public administration, education, and overcoming infrastructure deficits. The Prime Minister explained that it had been a question of exchanging the strong digital potentials of the main obstacles and overcome the challenges. The forum will exchange about the digital transformation and development of technology, but also will discuss the role of the public and private sector to develop the digital economy and connectivity exchange and their experience in the field of digital transformations. After the ceremony, the opening ceremony and the speeches of the officials, plus to the discussions on the topics about the digital infrastructure, these basic services necessary to the computer capacities are necessary to the digital economy and to the quality of life of a modern country. The traditional role of IT infrastructure is being rapidly reshaped by the goal digital transformation of businesses in an ultra-competitive global economy which offers unlimited opportunities for the disruptions and requires constant innovations. Panelists spoke of the importance of setting up institutional framework to encourage and build a digital ecosystem serving the people of Djibouti in world of profound and visible change. The discussion on the panelists converged on one conclusion: the digital transformation is an essential notion of economic development. It's important to know that in an economy in digital transitions, the entrepreneurial economy is the one of the creates the most value in a territory, what is most commonly called the digital economy, and that digitalizations could indeed contribute positively to better growth for Djibouti. A General Union of Djibouti Workers, in collaboration with the World Federations of Trade Union, closed the second International Conference of Workers, Maritime Carriers of Dockers, as well as 4 of African countries and the Mediterranean. This event brought together 35 delegates from Trade Union Center from 40 African countries and the bordering the Arabian Gulf and the Mediterranean. In addition to Djibouti, there are Egypt, Spain, France, Guinea, Greece, Iran, Kenya, as well as Senegal and Somalia. Among the participating gathered on the scene were the General Secretary of the UGTD, Said Younis Wabri, the General Secretary of WFTU, George Mavrikos, the coordinator of the WFTU in Senegal, Sheikh Al-Salan, the general managers of Polyvalent Port of Dorale, DMP, its acronym Wahib Dahir Aden, the representatives of the workers and employers of Djibouti. The Minister of Women and the Family, Mrs. Moumina Ahmed Hassan, received a courtesy call on the mayor of the city of Hargeisa, Mr. Abdurrahman Mahmoud Aidid. The letter was introduced to her, to Mrs. Fatuma Awali Osman, Mayor of Djibouti City. Mr. Abdurrahman Mahmoud Aidid participated in the 32nd sessions of Administrative Council of the Association of Islamic Capitals and Cities sessions held in Djibouti. From the first time, the Minister of Women and Family welcomed the Mayor of Hargeisa and thanked him for his visit to Djibouti. The two sides then discussed the fraternal relation between the Republic of Djibouti and Somaliland and ways to strengthen and develop them. Minister of Women and Family also had a courtesy visit to Hargeisa Mayor Abdurrahman Mahmoud, led by the Ministers of Women. At the beginning of this courtesy visit, the two parties promised to strengthen their relation and collaborations. The new surgical missions led by Professor Ahmed Ashraf of the University Hospital of Grenoble continues its specialized operating room of Peltier General Hospital. During his stay, Professor Ashraf will offer his expertise alongside Dr. Dianka for the benefits of Djiboutian patients who are previously selected because of pathological complications and serious neurosurgical malformations. These surgical activities are therefore conducted as part of a long-term collaboration with the neurosurgical department of Peltier Hospital, which deals with patients with neurosurgical dysfunctions with complications whose surgical operation was not possible in Djibouti before. Fortunately, this one-off neurosurgical missions provide the necessary expertise to treat such neurosurgical pathologies. The State Secretary of Youth and Sport organized this morning at the Hassan Goulet Stadium a conference on the environment. This conference was supported by UNICEF and the Minister of the Environment. He returned to the technical advisors of the Secretary of State for Youth and Sport, Mrs. Medina Salah Ali, to open this conference with the acting representative of the UNICEF, the acting directors of the environment, numerous senior secretary of State, as well as Director and Environmental Professor Association. They also called for the development of a young ecologist charter that will act as a law for young people and enable them to adopt the appropriate behaviors in terms of safeguarding and protecting the environment. And now let's move on continental news. Libyan election in northern hemisphere spring. For more details, let's follow this report.
Today its draft 2019 bid to the European Union Commission with the same grounds and deficit exceptions as a draft rejected for breaking European Union rules, stepping up its shutdown with the European Union over its fiscal policy. The Commission, which is the guardian of European Union laws, sent back Italy's previous draft last month to be refused because its grounds exceptions were too high. The deficit was to be bigger rather than smaller, and debt was to be stable instead of lower.
Here we arrive at the end of this news edition. Thank you for watching us. Have a good night and goodbye.